we would like to thank you for clicking on the Literacy Volunteers of Harrison County YouTube page. If you watch our videos and you like them, please subscribe to our channel and give them a thumbs up. Today we're going to do the second math lesson, and it's on least common denominators. So last time we talked about adding fractions, and now we're going to talk about trying to add fractions with different denominators and how we do that. So first of all, let's look at what is the least common denominator. It's the smallest of all of the common denominators. So that's the one that we're looking for, the one we have to find. Why do we want to find the least common denominator? Because we can't add fractions with different denominators. They have to have the same denominator, so therefore we have to find the least common denominator. If we're looking at our pizzas, in this instance, we have 1/3 of a pizza here, and we want to add 1/6 of this pizza here, and we'll see what our answer would be. So, and this we can't add because we have a 3 here and we have a 6 here. So let's find the least common denominator. What should it be? One easy way we could do is just to multiply these two denominators together, right? So if we multiply 3 times 6, we get 18. And then we're going to use 18 here on our pizzas. So instead of having 3 or 6 slices, both of our pizzas in this instance now have 18 slices. So here are all of these slices. So we can change this to 6/18 on this pizza, and there are 3/18 on this pizza. Now since we have 18 here and 18 here, and that's a common denominator, we can add the numerators. So 6 plus 3 equals 9, and then we just bring the 18 over. So in this instance, our pizza has 9/18. But they do have common denominators, but isn't the least common denominator they could have. And that's what we're looking for, the lowest number, right? So can we do the same problem with fewer slices? Yes, we can, and here's how we're going to do it. We take our 1/3 and the denominator on the bottom, and we want to list the multiples of that denominator. Multiples are just like your multiplication tables. So we say 3, that's 3 times 1, right? 6 is 3 times 2. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, and so on. Then we have to list the common multiples, or the multiples of 6. So here we have 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. So we compare these two lists of numbers to look for the lowest number they have in common. So that says, what is the smallest number that both of them have that are the same? So we can look right here, and it's a 6. So therefore 6 is our least common denominator. Now can we do this problem with just 6 slices? Yes, we can. We want to multiply both of our fractions so that they only have that 6 slices, because 6 is our least common denominator. So when we multiply the top and the bottom of 1/3 by 2, we get 1 times 2 is 2, 3 times 2 is 6. Now both of our denominators are 6, and that's the lowest common denominator. So let's look at our problem that we started with. Now we've changed this to 2/6, 1/3. We still have 1/6 here. So if we take our 2/6 of a pizza here and add it to our 1/6 of a pizza here, we get 3/6. The last step we have to do is to simplify our fraction. 3/6 can be reduced to 1/2. Now we have the correct answer for that problem with using the least common denominator. Let's look at this example. What is 1/6 plus 7/15? The denominator here is 6, and the denominator here is 15. So let's search for the least common denominator the same way we did the others, by listing the multiples. So we have to list the multiples of 6. So we're going to start again, just like your multiplication tables, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, and so on. Then we're going to list the multiples of 15. 15, 30, 45, 60. Then we're going to compare these two number lines, and so the least common multiple of both 6 and 15 is 30. We can circle it right there. Now we have 30. That's our least common denominator. So what we do to the bottom of the fraction, we have to do to the top of the fraction, because that matches them up. So here's our 30 on the bottom and our 30 on the bottom. So if we take 6 and we say, what can we multiply 6 by to get 30? and that's 5. So we multiply 6 times 5 to get 30. And if we multiply it on the bottom times 5, we have to multiply on the top times 5. So 1 times 5 is 5. So that tells us what we're doing here. We did that for our first fraction. We have to do it for our second fraction. So here's our 7/15. So we look at 15 and we say, what do we multiply 15 by to get 30? That is 2, right? So if we multiplied 15 by 2 to get 30 on the bottom, we have to multiply 7 by 2, and that is equal to 14 on the top. Now we can do the addition. So we have to add the top numbers. We have the same denominator, which is what we wanted, and we bring it over, and we have 5 plus 14, that equals 19. So our answer is 19/30. This fraction is already in the simplest form. We cannot reduce this fraction, so that would be our final answer without being able to reduce it. So let's just do a little practice here at the end. So we want to add 3/8 plus 5/12, right? What is the first thing that we do again? We have to list the multiples. So the first multiple we'll list is 8. The multiples of 8, the multiplication tables, are 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, on and on and on. Then we have to list the multiples of the second fraction's denominator, which would be multiples of 12, 12, 24, 36, 48. Now what is our least common multiple? I've put it here for you. We search and we have 24. 24 is the lowest number in both of our sets that matches, right? So for the first fraction, we can multiply the top and the bottom by 3. So we look at 8, we say what times 8 equals 24? That's 3. So I told you before, if you do it to the bottom number, you have to do the same thing to the top number. So 3 times 3 is 9. So 9/24 is our first number. For the second fraction, we can multiply the top and the bottom by 2. What times 12 equals 24? That's 2. If you did it to the bottom, you have to do it to the top. So 5 times 2 is 10. 10/24 would be our second fraction. Now, since we have like denominators, we can add those fractions. So we add our 9/24 to our 10/24, and we get 19/24. This is already in its simplest form. We cannot reduce this fraction any farther. So that way, that would be our final answer. So I wanted you to get from this whole entire lesson that if we're adding fractions, they have to have the same denominator. If they do not, you have to find the least common denominator, make both of the fractions match, and then you can add the top numbers with that least common denominator to get the correct answer. Thank you so much for joining us. Our next lesson will be on subtracting fractions.